Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian Report for the 30th of August, and starting with the ASX here, we are looking at a corrective rally from this low here. So we've got an A wave here with 5 waves in it, so we've got a B wave with 3 waves in it, and we're looking for wave C here, which will have 5 waves in it. One of the things I mentioned earlier is that once the market trades above this level here, the 6,500 here, any move below that now would constitute a bear market in looking for further downside at that point. So that's a very clear line in the sand. So that's good. And I'm saying that because, as I mentioned earlier, with this particular structure in this space here, I'm having trouble counting it. So yeah, it causes a little bit of difficulty. So I've got basically one count where we're nearly we'll be finished here today, opening higher and then trading lower, and we've finished with wave C of B. But I've got another count where this is all a building process basically here we look for wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and then basically wave 3 and 4 here, and looking up for 5 here. But the other count that I've got here is that we have wave 1 here and wave 2 here, but all this here is a building process, like a series of 1s and 2s, and going into a third wave, and we'll still unfold further and come higher here. So that's on the cards as well. So yeah, sorry about that. I just can't figure out this space in here. We'll go and have a look at it. I mean, I've mentioned it before. I'm looking at it in different ways, so I can look at it as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then 5 waves up here for 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 here with an overlapping wave structure, which I don't like, and then wave 5 here for wave 3 and 4. So there's a lot of this in here that it just doesn't gel, and then and then wave 5 up through to here, and we've got 5 waves. We'll have a look at the tick chart in a moment in this particular structure here. The S&P was up at 1.3%, I think. So, we should see our cash market, our cash market open higher, and also, our banks and so on. So we can drift up a little bit higher here. We can have a look at this. But my problem is this here. So, yeah. On the tick chart here, just looking at some of this particular structure, what's occurred sort of overnight here from this is, first of all, this is the other structure that I've got here, which don't need to see all my mess there, but so the other structure, if I just bring in a bit more data here as well. So we've got wave B here, so we'll look at wave 1 here and wave 2 here, okay? And then this particular structure here from wave 2 here going up to wave 3, which is up here, and this would look at this all being a little 1 and 2 in here, a little 3 there, little wave 4 here. And it's funny because this is like a little expanded flat in here, and so this is like an expanded flat here, and this one here is kind of the same as well. So they're reoccurring patterns within this particular leg, this particular structure here. But I think it's quite a nice fit really to have all of this here as the next wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then moving up for wave 3, 4 and 5 here, just to make wave 3 here. Because don't remember too that the 50-60% retracement level is up here somewhere. That was our sort of original target. So yeah, so I mean, if this wasn't so messy in here, then I'd have a clearer understanding of it, but it's just not the case. So yeah, so if it is going to move higher, then from wave 2 here we look at wave 1 here, wave 2 here, and from wave 2 here we've got 5 waves in green here, will take us to wave 3, then 4 and 5 just for the third wave, then a fourth wave, and then a fifth wave. So that's that's all quite sort of doable really. So yeah, so currently we have the stop. I've moved the stop up. I moved the stop up here just below this wave 4, this previous little wave 4 here. So yeah, but the trouble is I would like to start shorting as well, so we need to have a bit of a look at that. So let's just go back to this. I mean, if Friday, in a bullish market, in the bullish weekly cycle, we should see Friday push up strong, you know, and that's what, well, we already have really, but we're likely to see that in the Australian market. This little structure here from well, from this point here, we've got 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, ABC for the fourth wave, and then here we've got 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for all the third wave. So I'm thinking there's a fourth wave here and then a fifth wave here. So from wave 4 to wave 5 here, we've still got one more little high to come in here to make wave 3. Now remember that this can be, if I can just put this here, in the other count that we've got, I'll just, doesn't need to be that big, that size, yeah. So in the other count that we've got, this is the top here. So that's the, I'll just move that to one side because it looks like it's part of that count. But so when we get that next high here, that can be the top of the market. We can move down from that point. So that's where it gets a little bit sort of tricky. So at what point do we look to short this scenario here? I mean, even if wave 4's breached a little bit, it doesn't really mean that it's finished at that point. I mean, this wave 4 can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here as well. This is what we'd be looking at. And the same with this wave 4 as well. But I think that they would be slightly higher on that basis, you know. So there'll be something like taking wave 1 top here and wave 4. There'd be a minimum, be something like that at max coming to the downside. So I don't think we should look to start shorting any of this unless we, because the US markets are up at 1.3% or whatever. We shouldn't really start shorting any of this unless we're below, say, the midpoint here. But even then, just have smaller positions in the market at that stage there as well. So yeah, and build in from that point. Definitely. Well, the catalyst would be this number here, 65.20. If that became the retested resistance, then I know that we're on a downside at that point, because this is group 1 here, and I know if that becomes the number 2 becomes the resistance, then that's a change in trend. But realistically, any move under the 65.30 as a retested resistance would also constitute a move to the downside as well. But all of these wave 4s here can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. But because the US markets are so strong overnight, then we'll push up a bit higher for sure. But I think also too, if you're trading this market, even if you don't trade the S&P 500, you should tune into that wave count, because we're also looking for a top there as well, and it's a bit more clearly defined there. All right, let's move on to the other markets. We'll look at Hong Kong first. So with Hong Kong, we're looking at a higher move here as well. So this is just the hourly chart, but from this low here, right, from this low, this point here, we've got 5 waves up here, and then we've got a clear 3-wave structure to the downside. So as a corrective move, we should at least come back up to the wave A here at least, but we should come a little bit higher than that. So we viewed this here as wave 1 here, and then we reviewed this here, pulling back into this space here for wave 2 and looking to go long here. So yeah, this market should push up higher as well, but what we don't want to do here is we don't want to get stopped out inside of this particular structure here. So 61.8% is there, so at least what we could do is we can move the stop. Shouldn't come back this low here at this point, so we'll just leave it there. It's got a lot of work to do at the 26 here, so there'll be the arrival, there'll be the reaction. So if I could just clear these away a little bit, we don't need those. So in one way or another, there's going to be something like this here before it gets up there higher, and then it needs to, you know, if you're going to add to this position, you'd want to be sitting on this 26,000 as the support at that space there as well. So just be mindful that you don't get stopped out. You could take part profit. We don't need that there. We could take part profit just here on the 26,000 and then look to get back in there. So, I mean, the normal process is that we would look once it makes that first high above the level, it'll still have its correction there, and then it'll come back up and sit on there and then move up. So these highs here would allow you to add, basically in one way or another, you have to recognize it from being resistance to sitting on there as support. Okay, so that's what you need to do to add to the position. You could buy on the pullback through here, that would be fine, but just a bit concerned about the US market, so we just need to be really quite careful about that. And also too, the resistance coming into this space here now would be, well, that's right on the 61.8% there as well. So all of this here is the resistance here. I'll just put that right through there. So you know, there's going to be a double struggle here, because I can see that this is all the supply here. The supply just means sellers, and we've also got those proportions here as well, those ratios. So there is going to be a struggle here. So taking part profit here would be, in fact, I'll just put that on the. I'll just put that in here actually. Just doesn't have to hit the 26. I think we should lock some in, take 50% there, and we can work it back in if we can see it moving to the upside there. But because we've got 3 waves here, we've got to see 5 waves here somewhere. So that's good news. And the Nifty. So in this case here, we're looking for wave 3 to wave 4 here, and we've got. And it makes it corrective because we've got this move here is in 3 waves here. So no matter what happens in this space over here, it's corrective. And it pans out as an A, and then an A and a B and a C for the B wave. And we can have this being completed now. It's a little bit tricky. Let's just go in and have a look at that. I mean, it just looks naturally of 1. The C wave should have 5 waves in it, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, but it has started to overlap the top of wave 1, and the fact that it's sort of sitting down on under 11,000 now is in a weaker situation. So we'll just look at the 1 hour chart. So we can look at this as wave 1 here, and then an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, and then this moves straight up here as wave 3, 4 and 5. I'm just going to go into the tick chart and just check that out a bit. So 1 ABC for 2 here, and let's just have a look at this little guy in here. So it's a bit rough, but we could look at this as the third wave in here, and then the fourth here, and then I need to restudy this, but from wave 4 here we have moved higher, so we can look at this as wave 5 of C. So we could look at this as being completed now, this market. Actually, the other good news here too, if I can borrow these now, is that we've got 1, 2, 3, I need to check that could go there too. Not that it's a big deal where that goes, but we can kind of clearly see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 coming down through here. So in that case, what we should be seeing, I should have really used the other ones actually. Doesn't matter. Looks like a B wave in here, and that means that we would look for a C wave back up here. Looks like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, so it should come back and touch that line. So I'll take these away over here now. So we should get, we should see something like this here. So that means we can short under this one here. And the other point here too is just a rally back up into this space here. So that would bring us into this 5 here, the 11,005 here. It's a good number. I mean, it's the second strongest number in the market after 100. So 1 is the strongest number, then 5 is the second strongest number in the market, according to me.
Report unless it's done. Really? Just holding up some plates.
So there we have it. So you could also probably get a better position over here further to go short as well. So we could just turn this one here green. So that could be helpful. You don't want to short it sitting above 11,000 while it's above 11,000, because the weight of the market is not on your side. If you want to get your timing right, then you need to be on the right side at the right time. And to do that in a safe way, you need some certain elements on your side. Yes, you could short it right up here and you could be correct, and you'll sleep well and you'll be happy for the week. But over a period of time, it's just better to use the closest, largest number that you've got as the support or the resistance, because really this C wave up here is a retest of the supply, and we need to see if the sellers are going to take control of the market and not the buyers. So for the sellers to take control of the market, we will need to see them take control and push it back down, and then this line here will be the deciding factor. So that's that. So just coming back to, I'll just save that. We'll just go back to the hourly chart here. Yeah, that's what I had, so that's cool. So that's what we're looking for. I mean, I could be wrong, and this could be a fourth wave here, and they'll be wrong, say, because of this spike here, because I can see that this is in 5 waves moving up here. So perhaps this is the correction over here. Maybe we'll look at the cash market, and this is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave, and the fourth wave back here. But I don't know about that, because, if this is 5 waves coming down here, then we would have 3 waves and 5 waves back again. So I think we'll stay with it, but yeah, just allow the market to kick up. That's the thing. Let it prove to you what it's doing. So let it kick up and basically fail and move back down from that point. And in saying that, our target to the downside would be, well, taking part profit down on these lows here, or just before that, here for wave 3, and you can let the rest of it go. Take 70% of it down here and let the other 30% travel down to 10.5 at that stage. I mean, there'll be quite a lot of consolidation in this space here, so you don't want to get too close to the market at that point. Alrighty, well that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the support. Cheers.